All right. Hey everyone, welcome to the workout. I'm Greg, and today we're going to be working on doing upper body exercises using resistance bands. Let's make sure that this is actually going live. Let me know if you can hear me in chat. That would help me out. I'll go ahead and describe what we're doing, and if you guys could let me know. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 5 exercises for 3 sets. So that means we're doing each exercise 3 times. We're going to be going, since it's week 3, we're going to be trying for 11 repetitions per set. If you can't make 11, do what you can. It's okay if you can only get to 8 or so, that's fine. Or if you need to, you can always drop the band down a little bit to be a lighter band so you can get to get a little bit higher to try and get to at least 10. Let me make sure that this is actually going live. Looks like it says it's live on my end. If you guys can let me know if you can see it. Just glancing at my phone. All right, so for now, we're going to start by warming up the shoulders. So we're going to start with some shoulder rolls. Just rolling the shoulders to the front to make sure that we get blood flowing into the shoulders. I'm just going to glance at my phone to make sure that we are actually live, because that would be no good if we started and no one could see me. So let me just... Okay. Perfect. So we're going to start with some shoulder rolls to the front, just getting blood flowing into the shoulders. It's just a warm up. About 10 to the front. And then 10 to the back. Pinching the shoulder blades together as you go back. Thinking about that shoulder blade as the foundation of the shoulder. Everything you do in your shoulder starts from there, or most everything you do starts from the shoulder blades. So we want to make sure we have all those muscles around the shoulder blade moving. It doesn't always move, but sometimes the shoulder blades are just stabilized, so we still want those muscles warmed up so they're not wobbling around all over the place. You want a solid foundation for all your shoulder exercises. Some people, the shoulder blades wing up and it can cause pain, so we want to make sure that all the muscles are there holding those shoulder blades secure. And crisscross across your body, pinching the shoulder blades as you go back and then relaxing them as you go forward. Just feel this in your chest and your back. This is just warming up, so if you have an exercise you'd rather do warming up, jumping jacks, something like that, that's fine. But this is what I like to do, so find it works better for me. Now forward and back like a nutcracker. Warming up the front and back of your shoulders. All right. And we do one more. We're actually going to go to the floor for this last one. This is working the muscles around your spine. This is going to be cat and camel. So you're going to go on your hands and knees. You're just going to arch your back up like a camel and then down like a stretching cat. Just moving that entire spine. Working all those muscles around your rib cage, up and down your spine. Head goes up in the cat position and down in the camel position. You should feel this in the middle of your back, in the rib cage area. A lot of those muscles can get stiff and stop moving, so we're mobilizing them, getting some blood flow into that area. All right. And coming back to standing. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start with our first exercise of the 5. So we're going to start with an exercise called the W. So you're going to grab a light band. I'll show you how to do the exercise first, and then we'll do it together. So what you're going to do is you're going to step right in the middle of the band. I'd recommend using your dominant foot to step right in the middle. And from here, I'll show you first, then we'll do it together. You're going to pull up into a W position. Imagine like you're trying to scoop ice cream and throw it behind you. So creating that W shape with your arms. You can see how one arm is half the W, the other arm is the other half. Trying to have your hands go behind your shoulders up into that W. We're working the rotator cuff muscles, half of them back in here, and then also some of the muscles between your shoulder blades, like your rhomboids and your traps, the muscles that pull your shoulder blades backwards. So it's a combination exercise, but also very good rotator cuff exercise. So leaning gently forward, we're going to do 10 to 11 together. If you can get to 11, that's great. We're going to start now. We're going for 11. 1, 2, 3. You should feel this in the back of your shoulders. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And relax. All right. So that was our first exercise. Now we're going to shift up to a heavier band. We're going to be working the biceps, which run from the front of the shoulder down to the front of the elbow, right in this area, the upper arm. I'm going for 2 heavy bands with this one, because this muscle can actually take a lot. So I'd recommend going a bit heavier on this band. But do what you're able to. You don't want to go to where you can't lift it. You want to be able to do a couple reps, but it should feel fatiguing by 10. That's for the muscle. If it's not a little bit fatiguing, it doesn't actually help build the muscle. So that it's called progressive overload. To actually build muscle. So what you're going to do, you're going to again step right in the middle of the band, and this time your hands are going to be at your sides with a slight bend in your elbow. So we're working again this muscle right in the front. So stepping right in the middle of the band, either foot's fine, but whatever feels comfortable. You're going to stand straight and tall, and then bring your hands up to the front, and then gently back down. Now it's important you're not swinging with your back on this one. It's all from the arm. So try and keep your back straight and tall, lifting up to the front, and then back down. All right, and I'll show you once from the front, up like this, to the front of your shoulders, and then back down. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the chat. I'll get to them as soon as I can. But if anything doesn't make sense, feel free to ask. We're going to go ahead, elbows at the sides, hands right about belt level, so you've got a slight bend in your elbow. We're going to do 11 of these together. So up to the front, and 1. Remember, control on the way down, don't just let it drop. 2, 3, 4. Might feel a little bit of a tremor, that's fine. 5, 6, just means you're working. 7, 8, 9. Make sure you're not holding your breath. 10, and last one, 11. Whew. It's pretty tiring by the end. It's good though, that means we're actually working. So I'm going to drop the band a little bit for this next one. Going to just a single band. So we just worked the bicep, which is in the front. Now we're going to go to the opposite side and work the tricep in the back. So this is the pair muscle for this. We worked front, now we're going to work back. So what you're going to do, I'll show you from the side. You're going to put the band under your front foot and then lean forward, keeping your back straight and your elbows bent. So from here, we're going to straighten out to the back. You can see I'm pulling away from that band, tensing up to the back. So it's all from that elbow, working the back of the arm. So go in here and then straight out to the back. Okay? You might feel this a little bit in the back of your shoulder as well, but primarily we're working that tricep right back here. You might feel a little bit, that's the posterior deltoid. It helps hold your shoulder right back here. All right, so from here, putting it in front, under your front foot, and then we're gonna do 11 together. All right, straightening out to the back. 1, 2, keeping your back nice and straight. 3, 4, 5, straight from the side. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. So that was exercise number 3. We're going to go to the ground for the next one. So, what we're going to do now, in position so you can see me. I'm going to go heavier on this next one. So we're going to do a row, a seated row. So for the seated row, gonna put the band around your feet and then bring your feet apart so that you have tension in the band and you're being pulled forward a little bit. So from here, you're going to pull back with your chest first. So you see how my shoulders come back a little bit, and then pull with your arms. This is working the muscles along your back and your lats right back here, and then in the back of your shoulders as well. You might feel it some in your bicep as well. So it's a lot of muscles all together. We're doing all the pulling muscles together. So again, feet about shoulder width or a little wider so you have tension in the band. Pulling the shoulders back, pulling with the arms. Trying to keep your back straight. All right, so we're gonna go 11 of those together. Pulling back with the shoulders and then the arms. 1, pulling to your rib cage. 2, 3, 4, and thumbs are pointed in towards the middle. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. All right. So we just worked all the pulling muscles on the back. Now we're going to work the pushing muscles on the front. So we're going to be working pecs and into the back of the shoulder a little bit too in the tricep. So what you're going to do, I recommend about the same tension of the bands. So for chest press, is our next exercise. You're going to lay on the band with it right about shoulder height, so your elbow and your hand are straight over the top of one another. You don't want it up here or down here. You want it straight in line over your elbow. And at chest height. And from here, you're going to grab onto the band itself, not using the handles for this one. You're going to push straight up to the front, and your hands will actually come a little bit forward as you come up. And that's okay. Or a little bit up towards your head. And then gently back down, keeping the elbows and the hands in line. It's the important thing, keeping your hands in line, and you want to pinch your shoulder blades together as you do this as well. As you push up towards the front, working that chest. And then back down. Remember, the shoulder blades are the foundation to the shoulder. Alright, so we're going to do 11 of these together. So pushing up to the front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. All right. We're going to come back up to standing now. Take a moment, grab a drink of water if you need. We just finished our first set, so that was the first 5 exercises. So now we're going to start on our second set, starting back at the beginning again. So take a second, just relax. Let your shoulders loosen up a little bit. You can grab water, do what you need. And then we'll get ready for set number 2. So for the next exercise, we're going back to a W. If you missed it, I will go ahead and describe it again as we go, just to make sure everyone has the right form for it. So I'm going to a lighter band for this one. We're working our rotator cuff, so we don't want to go really heavy on it, because if we completely exhaust the rotator cuff, then there's not something holding our shoulder together. So we don't want to go that hard on it. Just enough where it's challenged, but not completely exhausted. So, working that rotator cuff in the back of the shoulder, you should feel it right back in here, and then some in the back of the shoulders as well, back in the trap, and some back here in the rhomboids as well. So, what we're going to do is you're going to step right in the middle of the band. I'll show you first, and then we can do it together. And your hands are going to be out to the sides a little bit. You're going to come up like you're scooping ice cream, throwing it behind you, or think about hitchhiking. It's another way of thinking about it. Not that I would recommend doing that. But your thumb pointed backwards, and your hand actually is trying to go back behind your shoulder. So I'll show you from the side. So going here, lifting up to the back, and pulling backwards, pulling into the back of your shoulder. All right? And again, if there's any questions, you need me to explain something a little bit differently, feel free to post in the chat or in the comments, and I'll try and get to it as soon as I can. So we're going to do a W together, doing 11 of these together. This is set number 2. All right, and under your front foot, and here we go. 1, 2, into that W shape. 3, 4, 5. The more you lean forward, the harder it is on this one actually. 6, 7, I think that was 7. 8, sometimes when I'm talking I lose count. 9, 10, you guys can tell me in the VOD. 11, did I actually lose count there? If I did, let me know in the comments. I'll have to be careful next time. Alright, that was exercise number 1. That was a W. So now we're going to shift to a heavier band and do a bicep curl. So I'm shifting to a double band on this one. These are the two heaviest bands I have at the moment. Remember, you're trying to go to where you feel fatigue at the end of the exercise. When you get up to about the 9th rep, it should feel pretty tiring, where it's a difficult time getting to number 10. All right. So for the bicep curl, what you're going to do is step right in the middle of the band, hands at your sides, elbows right at your rib cage, and from here you're going to bring your hands up to the front of your shoulders. Remember, don't swing your hips, it's all from the elbow. You should feel it in this muscle right in the front of your shoulder. Coming back to a slight bend in the elbow, up to the front, and then back down. We're going to do 11 of those together. So elbows right at the rib cage, hands straight, and let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, going for 11, guys, almost there. 10 and 11. Whew. All right, so we just worked the bicep, which is in the front. Now we're going to work the tricep, which is in the back. So I'm dropping down the weight a little bit on this one. And we're going to do a tricep extension. So you're going to step right into the middle of the band. Elbows bend at your sides, leaning forward, but keeping your back straight. And from here, you're going to pull up into the back, straightening out, feeling this in the back of your arms. Feeling this right along here, maybe into the back of the shoulder, but primarily in that tricep right back here. So we're going to do 11 of these together. Straightening out to the back, nice straight back, leaning forward, going for 11. Let's start now. 1, 2, 3, and keep your shoulders down too. Don't let them come up. Keep them down and back. So you're pinching your shoulder blades together. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. All right. So for the next exercise, excuse me. For the next exercise, we're going to go to the ground. We're going to do a seated row. So for this one, I'm adding back in the heavy band because there's a lot of muscles involved with this one and some very large muscles like the lats, bicep, and traps, which all are large muscles. So you want to have a good band tension on this one. And for this, I don't grab the handles, I grab the fabric. It's a little more comfortable to me. Yours, feel free to grab the handles if you like. It doesn't make a difference in the exercise. So you're gonna wrap the band around your feet and then bring your feet apart far enough where you feel tension in the band pulling you forward. Should be about even on both sides. I'm gonna move forward just a little bit. So it should be about even on both sides. From here, you're gonna pull your shoulders back first to engage your traps. You should feel that between your shoulder blades. Then from here, you're gonna pull with your arms, feeling that in your lats and bicep. So again, shoulders and then arms, and then back with the arms, back with the shoulders. All right, so we're gonna do 11 of those together. If you have any questions, feel free to post, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. So going 11 of these together in a seated row. So pulling back with the shoulders, back with the arms, arms, and then the shoulders. That's 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. And 11. The thing that happens when you pull your shoulders back first is it engages all of that trap. If you don't, your traps can actually engage upwards first, and so you're pulling like this, which is putting a lot of pressure into that shoulder where the nerve runs through. You know how when you hit your funny bone, it hurts really bad? That nerve actually starts up here. So if you imagine hitting your funny bone, but in your shoulder where it's bigger and more clustered, it's not a fun feeling. That's why we always pull our shoulders back and give that space for the nerve. It's just like your funny bone, you don't feel it until it's pressed, and then you feel it a lot, sometimes all the way down to your fingertips. So that's why we always want to protect those nerves. So now we just worked the back. Now we're going to work the front. So we're working into pecs, in here. It goes all the way from your breastplate bone, in to your shoulder, all across here. And then we're going to work the tricep, which runs from the back of your elbow up into your shoulder. So we're going to take the band, loop it around behind your back. We're at about chest height and should be in line. No twist or anything. So you're on this one. Move a little bit away so you can see my elbow. So your hands want to be right at elbow height. You want them up above or below. You want it to be right over the top of your elbow the entire time. Feel about even on both sides of the band. On this one, again, I grab below the handles because it's more comfortable for me. If your band is the right length for you where you can grab the handles at this point, I would have to lift my elbow up at the ground to grab the handles. So for you, depends on the length of your band. Grab where you feel there's tension at the bottom of the movement. So choke up on the band a little bit if you need to. From here, you're going to push up to the front, keeping your hands in line with your elbow. Pushing straight up. See how my hands and elbow form a straight line as I go up to the top. And not letting the elbow twist out or in. Not pushing up like this. So keeping it straight and even. Alright, we're going to do 11 of these together. It's just like a bench press. We're going to do a chest. It's called a chest press though. So pushing straight up to the front. And that's 1. 2. Oh yes, and keep your shoulder blades pinched together doing this. It's for a strong foundation for your shoulder, so they're not wobbling around. 3. 4. 5. I'm getting tired. I can feel my right arm is moving around a little bit. 6. Try and keep your hands right in line with your elbow. 7. 8. 9. 10. This is our last rep of set 2. And 11. And relax. All right. Going back to standing. Take a quick second to catch your breath. Grab a drink if you need. Just checking my heart rate real quick. It's a cooler day, which is nice, but it's still getting a little warm in here. So make sure if you need, grab water. It looks like everyone's doing pretty well. No questions yet, so hopefully you guys are staying with me. We're on set number 2 of 3. We've got one more set to go of 5 exercises, then we'll cool down with some stretching. We stretch at the end rather than the beginning, because this might change, but right now the thinking is stretching at the beginning of an exercise can impact how much strength you can produce during that exercise. There's a lot of factors in that. Some people say it doesn't seem to be, some people say it does. There's, from what I've seen, studies to go both ways. But I think if you're being safe, doing some dynamic movement for the beginning, safer, just so it doesn't impact your strength. Doing static stretching, for instance, at the beginning, we wouldn't want to compromise our strength or compromise our joints doing that, just in case it does. So, but we will do that at the end, do some stretching, gain some, to work on flexibility. Excuse me a moment. Okay. All right. So we're going to start with set number 3. This is our last set. So we're going to start with the light band again, going into the W exercise, which is a rotator cuff exercise along with shoulder blades. Just detaching these bands and going to a light band. Man, I can tell I'm tired. I just attached both clips to the same handle, which we need 2 handles for this one. All right, last set, guys. So set number 3, going for 11 reps per exercise. So we're gonna do a W, which works the back of the shoulder in that rotator cuff, and then some in the between the shoulder blades as well, working the muscles in the traps and the rhomboids. All right, so from here, you're gonna step right into the middle of the band using your front leg or your dominant foot, and then grabbing both the handles, you're going to bring your hand up to the back and back behind the shoulder, trying to twist at that elbow, or twist from the shoulder rather, but the elbow sort of stays where it is and acts like a hinge. You see, I'm going just like this, like I'm scooping ice cream and throwing it behind me. We're subconsciously trying to say, don't eat ice cream too. You know, we're just weaving that in there. All right, so going up to the back, creating that W shape, and then back down. All right, and a slight lean forward on this one. The more lean forward you are, the harder it's gonna be. So slightly lean forward, pulling up to the back. We're gonna do 11 of these together. Starting now, pulling up to the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. All right. So it's important on those ones that we're twisting at the shoulder. If we're, some people, their tendency is to bring their shoulders up, and so they wouldn't be able to twist back. So if you're using your traps, if you get to here and you're like, oh, I can't move anywhere, you know, oh, you need to drop your shoulders down so your hands can come backwards. Otherwise, your shoulder blade is actually stopping you because it's hitting against the bone, keeping that shoulder down and back. See how I can actually bring it back here? I'm not doing that for camera either. I literally, my shoulder is up towards my ear. It locks there. I can't even force it with the other hand to go backwards all the way back as far as it needs to go. So if you ever feel like, oh, it stuck, ever feel it sticks there, you know maybe that you need to drop your shoulders down to move the shoulder blade out of the way of the joint. Or to move the joint with the shoulder blade, I should say. Alright, so now we're going to shift to heavier bands for our last bicep curl. So, working the muscle right here in the front of the arm. This is the one usually people think of when they say, oh, flex a muscle. Everyone makes this bicep curl muscle. They're like, oh, I've got biceps. I'm not sure why that is. Go ahead and write in the comments why you think that is. I'm curious to hear what people think. Because everyone does it, and I think it might be cross-cultural. I don't know, maybe if you live somewhere else, they do something different. Let us know. Love to hear about what people do and what people, how different cultures see that. So, for bicep though, we're going to start with your hands slight bend in your elbow, with your elbows right at your rib cage. And from here, you're going to bring your hands up to the front, bending that elbow up to the front of the shoulder, and then back down. I'll show you without the band because I'm starting to get pretty tired by now. So it's going up to the front and then back down to a slight bend in the elbow. I'll show you from the side on this one. So we're going to do 11 of these together. It's our last time doing bicep curl. So we're going to curl up and then back down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Oh man. Alright, so now we just did bicep, so we're going to do tricep. It's our last tricep extension exercise. So I'm dropping, again, I'm a little bit tired. I just disconnected the wrong band. There we go. So still with a heavy band, just only one heavy band on this one. You're gonna step right in the middle of the band. Elbows are bent to 90 degrees, back is straight. And from here, you're going to straighten your elbows out to the back, feeling that in the back of your arms and the back of your shoulder. Going straight to the back, we're going to do a tricep extension. It's working that muscle that runs from the back of the shoulder down to the back of the elbow. Some people call it the horseshoe muscle because it sort of makes that horseshoe shape in the back of your arm. But it's called the tricep muscle. I don't know if anyone else has heard that term. I knew people that called it that for some reason. So elbows bent, 90 degrees, straightening out to the back. We're going to do 11 of these together. Straightening out to the back, 1, going straight back, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. All right, almost done. Got 2 more exercises left to go and then we'll cool down and stretch. So for the next 2, we're going to the ground. And we're doing heavier bands on this one because those are large muscle groups for these next two. So I'm shifting to double heavy bands. But again, do what you can. You want to try and get to at least 10. If you can, get 11, but it should feel tiring by 11. So from here, we're going to do a seated row. You're going to put the bands right around your feet and bring your feet out to about shoulder width, so you feel tension in the bands pulling you forward a little bit. From here, you're going to bring your shoulders back and then pull with your arms to your rib cage. So you can think chest out and then arms back. All right? So we're engaging all the muscles along your back, working the lats, which start down here at your low back and go all the way up across your rib cage into your shoulder, and then also the muscles between your shoulder blades back in here. All right? So the whole back with this one. So, but we're not arching the back. So we're not bending forward, we're just staying straight as you can, pulling the shoulders back and then pulling with the arms, all right? So if you feel it in your low back, might mean you need a little bit more support back here, maybe a cushion right here to help stabilize your back. So from here, we're going to do 11 of these together. So pulling back and back, 1. So think chest out and back, 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. Feeling this one. 10. And 11. Whew. Almost done. Last exercise, guys. Stick with it. We're just about there. So from here, you're going to bring the band right underneath your chest. And your hands will be grabbing onto the band where you have tension in the band. So keeping your hands right over the top of your elbows, you're going to push up to the front into a chest press. So this is working the pectoral muscles in the front and the tricep muscles in the back of your arm. So we're going to push straight up to the front and then back down. All right, we're going to go for 11 of those. Pinching your shoulder blades together, pushing up to the front, and then back down. You can grip or you can have open hands, whatever feels more comfortable. We're going to go for 11 of these, starting now. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. And 11. And relax. Nice job. So, if you're watching here, you got to the end of the workout. So, if you're liking the workout, hit subscribe and let me know that you actually got to the end. Love to hear from you. So if you hit subscribe, that way I know this is working well for you and to do this style content. So it's good that we worked, a lot of these exercises are working both sides. So if we work pec, we also work lats. We also work pulling motions as well as pushing, because muscles always work in pairs to where one pulls one way and the other pulls the other way. So if you think about it, sort of like a teeter-totter, if one muscle is really strong, it's pulling down this way, this muscle is not as strong or is weak maybe. When it goes to try and pull, this one's not going to let it. It's so it's too heavy on one side. That's why we want to work both sides so that it can be fluid between those two. It moves effectively. It's called agonist and antagonist pairs. So they're always in a pair. So we work one side and the other to make sure they stay balanced. Otherwise, you see people who are working all the mirror muscles where they're like, oh, I'm really big one way, but they're stiff because they haven't worked the other muscles, and eventually it can lead to pain. So that's why we always try and balance between the two sides, both front and back, or rotator cuff along with the big mover muscles, because the rotator cuff is what holds everything together. All right, so we're going to go ahead and stand up and end with some stretching. So first thing we're going to do is stretch the back of the shoulder. So you're going to bring your arm across your body and then gently hug your arm into your chest, stretching this arm in the back. Feeling a stretch along the back of your shoulder. You can feel all the way from your shoulder blade into the ball and socket of the shoulder. We're going to just hold this gently. You should feel tension but no pain. Holding for 20 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And same thing on the other side, stretching this shoulder, the arm that's across your body, pulling it into your chest, feeling a stretch along the shoulder blade into the ball and socket, and pulling for 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And relax. All right, now we're going to stretch the tricep, which runs along the back of the arm from the elbow up to the shoulder. So you're going to reach around, grab onto your shoulder or pat yourself on the back, and then gently pull up on the elbow, feeling a stretch in the back of the arm. And holding that, you might be able to get all the way back here. That's a little bit much for me, so I'm going to back off a little bit, just to where there's tension in the arm. Holding for 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And same thing on the other side, grabbing on. The lower you go on your back, the more of a stretch it is. So if you need to, if this is as high as you can go, that's okay. If you can, some people are more flexible than I am, even, where they can get all the way down between their shoulder blades. Sometimes it's different on each side too, and that's okay. Just go where you can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And relax. All right, now we're going to stretch a couple of muscles at once. So we're going to stretch the bicep in the front of the arm, and then the pec in the front of the chest. It runs from the breastplate, from the sternum or breastplate bone, across into your shoulder. It goes all the way across here in sort of a big triangle-shaped muscle. So it's a triangle down like that. So what we're going to do is you're going to clasp your hands behind your back, and from here you're going to push out to the back, feeling a stretch across the front of your chest and the front of your arm. So pushing out to the back, keeping those shoulders down, and hold that stretch for 20 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. The more up to the back you go, the more stretch it does. Again, some people can go higher than I can, where their arms are all the way back here. But some people, it's hard to even get it off your body, and that's okay. If you feel a stretch, that's what matters. You feel a little bit of tension, but no pain. So now we're going to stretch right between the shoulder blades and these rhomboids back here. So what you're going to do is you're going to clasp your hands in front of you. Imagine like you're bear hugging someone, or something like you've got a telephone pole about in front of you, gripping, pushing your shoulder blades forward and your head down. So pushing out towards the front like you're hugging someone. Feel that right between your shoulder blades. And holding for 20 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right. This is our last stretch. We're going to stretch the lats, which run from the small of your back up across your rib cage in sort of a V shape into your shoulder. So what we're going to do is you're going to lace your fingertips together, and then you're going to push your palms up towards the ceiling, keeping your elbows out and pushing your shoulders up and backwards. So you're actually leaning towards the back a little bit. As you do this, you can see my hands go from up here, up and back, stretching those lats. And holding for 20 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And relax. All right. So we stream every Tuesday at 1 o'clock. We're on week 3 of our upper body resistance band training. We're going to be going for a couple more weeks on this. If you're liking this content and want to know when we're streaming next, want to be reminded of it, go ahead and hit subscribe and hit the bell. And that way you can be here for our next workout and continue to build on the progress we've started today. So I hope to see you guys next time, and that is our workout for today. Go eat some food.